and the court is the ship. And look where you got the when you got the you put your wheelchair access. That's the plank of the ship. When you go inside, you see it set up like a ship. You got where the first mates are, which is behind the fence, and then the captain's up the top in the poop deck. And the reason when you go to court you can't you listen to the judge. Anything he says you can't. It's not on the judgment. Is because when the captain's in the poop deck and you're down in there, you can't see him. Yeah, law of boxing. When you see a cargo ship and you put all your cargo in a cargo box, you can't see what's in the box, yeah? And so A4, Admiralty Form 4, paper ship, carrying cargo, which is the words, written in the volition of a writer to take a message from one point to another through the sea of space. 1666, yeah? Holy sea of space, sea of paper. Yeah, and that's how you get captured. That's why you have no rights right now. Because once you get registered, they get joined up. Because your birth is recognized as an event. The event is two twins are being born. Your placenta is recognized as the dead twin, and you are the living twin. Under the Bible, it simply says, let the older born take care of the second born. That's your dead placenta. And that's why they create the legal name in all capitals from that placenta. Then they prick the left foot. Now, what do they do when you're birthing? What's the doctor say when the crown comes out? You're crowning, you're crowning, you're crowning. Why? Because you're the crown. Another king or a queen has left the birthing canal. Yeah? What is that? The body is the temple to God. God is the spirit, which is the king and queen, or the queen inside the body, which is the temple. That makes you the crown. Yeah? How does that work? You see in Lord of the Rings, it's not rings, it's crowns. Lord of the Crowns, there's 3 crowns. People think there's 1, there's 3. There's the living crown, you. Living, breathing soul, traveling through the sea of space in the physical vessel you have embodied. There's a corporate crown. The Vatican created your legal person. All capitals is dead. Look at all tombstones. Capitals means dead. Capitals is how you write the name of the deceased. Yeah. Now you have a look at all these guys' uniforms. You look at their names. It's called Dog Latin. What's Dog Latin? Latin has all capitals with a line between. English has got a capital at the front, small letters behind, and a space between. Dog Latin is all capitals, like Latin, but a space. English abbreviations carries a 20-year jail sentence. That's why you get arrested. When they pull you up and say, license, is that you? You said yes, you just lied. You're not a piece of plastic. You're sitting there talking to them. So they go, no, I'm me. It's a piece of plastic. And they usually say, no, it looks like it. Yeah, close like this, but I've never been a two-dimensional image or a piece of plastic. And they get a recording. Is that you? No, I've never been a recording. Never been an image. Always been me. That's the law. But people don't know the law.
No,
yeah?
You're right.
Because we've listened to the square box our whole lives.
Absolutely. When you actually see what's going on, it's called necromancy. You got a legal name, and because once you're born, once they say you're crowning, a king or queen is being birthed through the birthing canal, and they're called the law of vassals and vessels. The vassal is the driver of the vessel, which is the ship. So you left the mothership through the birthing canal. Waters broke.
Yes,
weighed and
it did.
registered on dry land.
Out
like
we
the
came.
Admiralty law. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they join you to a dead name. How do they do that? The child comes out. They get the placenta, which is the first twin. They take the name, which it says there's no name when you're born. Yeah, because you're not given a name yet. You're just being birthed or born. Born is a living child. Birth is a ship coming out the mothership. Yeah, out of the mothership.
Yep.
Then they get the left foot, prick it, and they put the blood on a card called a Guthrie card.
Yep.
The Guthrie card is where they actually create you, your DNA, on a dead name.
Yep.
And that's called joinder. Now the dead name has been attached to you. Then you're registered under international law. He or she or owns the registry, owns whatever is registered. All your paperwork is in their registries. That's why they control you with them. How do they capture you? Easy. You're recognized as dead. Dead have no rights. Why is that? Because they tricked you again through assumption and presumption. Once your parents walk you in, look at your birth certificate. Your mum's recognized as an informant. What's an informant? A police informant. Informing what? A new slave's just arrived with an all capitals name, which is illegal, carries a 20-year jail sentence. That's the informant. Look on it. Where's his mother's name? Informant.
Wow.
Police informant. Informing of a crime, she doesn't even know it. It's all through trickery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when you get registered, your name goes onto a piece of paper called a birth certificate. That birth certificate's in the public being traded. You heard the saying, worth your weight in gold? That's because when you're born, they're going to claim your body, the ship, and now they're accountable for any harm, loss, or damage. So they put $230 million in that account. That's why you're the God. And they put 1.6 hectares of land is matched into that there. That's where your 1.6 hectares of land is $230 million value behind it. And then they trade that on the stock exchange. Why would they do that? When Gough Whitlam removed the Queen without a referendum, he then created a company called Commonwealth of Australia Corporation, registered in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. Then he got a loan from the World Bank. Now, in order to get a loan from the World Bank, you need surety. Your birth certificate is the surety to the debt. That's why you get arrested, you go to jail, all that bullshit. How does that work? This necromancy is another spell. I'll get back to the first part. Now, once you've been registered and your name's been put on that paper ship, they put it in the public and start trading it. Now, in the international law, paper ships also got to have cargo, which is the words, but they've got to have a captain in order not to be salvaged. What's salvage? If you go out in the sea and you find a ship with cargo on it and no captain, you can salvage the ship, keep the ship and all the cargo on it. Well, that paper ship has got your name on it and is traded without a flag on the left-hand side, without a cancel stamp on the right-hand side, so therefore there's no captain, and you're the cargo on it, your name, and it's out there. And so now you've been recognised as lost at sea, because now it's out in the 1666 Sea of Space. That's out being traded in the Sea of Space, and now you're being traded on your 7th birthday, because under the law of merchants, if someone falls off the ship, they're recognised as dead intestate. Dead intestate means you're presumed and assumed dead, unless you come back and go, I've survived, I'm alive. Same as the whalers and sailors that fell off the ship, get to an island, find their way back home, go, I didn't die, I'm alive. After on your 7th birthday, they said, have they returned? Oh no, haven't returned. So what do? Is there a will and testament of the deceased? 7-year-old, you don't even know you're dead. You don't even know, so there's no will and testament. Government becomes a trustee over the trust and everything in it. We own you now. That's the spell. And then because it's a corporate name which is dead, you get summons to court. Summons the dead to court. Then you magically appear. Can't charge the dead or rise to the living, so we can charge you. It's all necromancy.
And send you to the education institution for the rest of your life.
The spelling, spell binding, binding you with a spell through a contract, track the con. Contract, tracking cons.
So how do we get our hands on the $230 million?
You wind it up. You take your first
I'm
and
really
second.
have a go at this.
You take your first and second name. You make that a trade name like McDonald's and Kentucky Fried. You take the second name. It becomes a trust that owns your first and second name, which is the trust, your trade name. Now you become Christ-like, because while you work for a living, you're anti-Christ, because Christ donated his time. If you work and get paid, you're anti-Christ. So that's all about honour, dishonour. Under the Bible, honour, dishonour. Now you keep seeing this thing about the body is the temple of God, and you see the images of Jesus doing this. That's because it's saying God is in the heart, and it's got a heart and a crown of thorns. God's been persecuted. How? Put on a cross. What's your cross? Your name is your cross you bear. Well, you carry the name, you carry the cross. How do you take that up? You become the living, breathing soul travelling through the sea of space in the physical vessel you have embodied. Your name becomes your cross. You take the cross off, you make it your property. Now that it's a trade name owned by a trust, you're the Crown, which is the organisation representative. And now because you donate your time through the non-profit association that owns the name, which is the trade name, now you donate your time, they hire the trust, you donate your time, they pay the trust, trust gives you sustenance. Sustenance, you cannot be paid on sustenance. Now you've resurrected yourself, you became Christ again, and you started becoming Christ. Donating your time. Bring heaven on earth. Well, how do you bring heaven on earth? Well, there's a United Nations. Oh yeah, that's United Nations. What's the nation is your skin. Land and man is one. God picked up the soul and created the man. So man equals land. Where do you live? Here, under international law. You're bound by the place you reside. You reside here, you're bound by the borders here. You live in your property and your land. Here, you're bound by wherever your body can take you. Ecclesiastical law. You are the cosmic traveller, otherwise known as the occupant of the office of the ex officio executive of the legal personality state. That simply means I am the living, breathing soul, traveling through the sea of space in the physical vessel that I've embodied. I'm not the body, I'm the one inside. I'm the one that leaves when they call it a corpse. They don't bury me. I go home.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Well done. Well done. That's brilliant. High
You're
five.
welcome.
That was
High five.
friggin' amazing.
Give
That
her a
was
cuddle.
that was amazing. Thank
welcome,
you.
my brother.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Nice.
Given all of that, the knowledge is obviously important. How do the majority of people that's anti what's going on at the moment?
Well, right now, myself and another group of people internationally are putting a covenant, a process together, so you don't have to go through all that bullshit. All you have to do is sign.
Let's go.
That's what we're doing now. Because it takes a long time to learn how to do this stuff. Yeah?
Yep.
I only know this because I've been doing this for 25 years now. Yeah? From the beginning, now I'm there. I've got
Wow.
a different knowledge now.
Well done.
Yeah, I
Good on you.
privatise my name. Now, once you privatise your name, then you got to do this thing. What do you do when you want to protect something? How come you can't use McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Nike? Why can't you do it?
Trade name.
Copyrighted and what? Trademarked. So once you've done that and privatised your name, you trademark it. Yeah, that means no one else can use the name to make trade. Ooh, trademark. Yeah, because when you go to court, you're giving them the job of executor and administrator of your birth certificate account, which is a trust. So in order to stop them to access that trust, you're the beneficiary. Only the beneficiary can access the trust and get benefit from the trust. Oh,
Got to keep you.
thank you.
Got to keep him
Yeah.
sustenance, I think. So.
So once you've done that,
You can look up Strawman and it can
Yes.
take you through the steps of how to get the documentation to send it through to remove your birth certificate, and then you pay extra to get the card. So
here's the thing. Straw man is the dead name, but you don't want to get rid of your birth certificate because you want to wind it up. Yeah, winding up is so you get the $230 million back. Otherwise, you're giving it to them. Does that make sense? They made it for you, it's yours. Yeah, and then they trade it. There's a procedure where you put your first and second name in, and then you put in the QSIP number, which is the top right-hand corner of the birth certificate on the top, in the little box. You put that in, and we can find out, thank you, how much you're worth, how much is in that birth certificate account, and
Thanks,
how
mate.
much you're being traded for. And you can see how many shareholders are invested in your bond.
Wow.
Because you're being traded.
Where can you see that? Where you're being, how much you're being traded?
How much you're being traded for because your birth certificate's been traded. Yeah, and how much is in the account.
But did you say
Look up
there's
the number.
somewhere where
There is a way to do that. There is a way to that. There's a process to do that online. Yeah, anyone can do it if you know the process.
Can you just elaborate again before you said the 666?
1666.
Oh, right.
1666 is when they created the Holy See of Space, Vatican Holy See of Space. Copyrighted everything in the planet and said they own it. They said if you are not a Roman Catholic, you're an animal. They can shoot you, tase you, poison you, and you have no rights. 1666. Papal Bull. Papal Bull is where they copyrighted every generation of human. Now, if you've got two different types of dogs or two different cows and you blend them together, create your own breed, then you got to copyright the breed. So you get 2 or 3 of your cows, your new dogs, and the one which is the weakest, they killed it. And then on the skin, they tanned the skin and they copyrighted that. Well, they did that with known as the Papal Bull, with human skin, using the babies. So every 70 years, they kill another child from each of the different nationalities, do what they're going to do, eat the baby, make red shoes from the front part of the baby. On the back of it, they create the Papal Bull with a gold seal on it. You can Google human skin Papal Bull. Yeah, you see, they copyrighted you. That's why they own you.
Wow.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Now, how do they create you? Because under international law, he or she creates, owns. He or she owns, interprets. God made you. They didn't. But they created the legal person, all capitals. When you're born, they put your blood in the Guthrie card. They attach the deed name to your body. That's how they control you. Corporation control corporations. That's how it works.
Yep.
But you've got to legally now go and wind up all this stuff.
Yeah, it's a process to do it. First, you got to do all that I just said. Privatize yourself, blah blah blah. Once you got a trademark, then you take a photograph of yourself frontwards, sideways, all your thumbprints, fingerprints, spit DNA, blood DNA, put it on a shirt. Now you got a trademark. You got something for sale. Now you put a $230 million value behind it for anyone wishing to use it without your written consent. Welcome to immunity. That's how you create diplomatic immunity. It's all about commerce. They can't give you a $1,000 fine or $100,000 fine if they're going to pay you $230 million every time they write your name down. That's the checkmate. That's the checkmate.
You.
And then, how they create the debt. All this money, before 1973, our money was backed up by gold. And you have a look at the old $5 bills, the Queen had a crown on. Look at all the $5 bills, there's no crown on now. Yeah, and that's because when Gough Whitlam came in and removed the Queen without a referendum, committed high treason against the Queen and treason against the people. And they created a company called Commonwealth of Australia Corporation, registered in Washington, D.C. Once they did that, they came back and they made Norfolk Island is Australia. This is Terra Australis or Australasia. It is not Australia. Now, you look at all capitals name, it's a military name. So you're saying you're Australian citizen, you're from Norfolk Island, and you've got a military name, you're now enemy of the state. In order for them to do business with you, they give you the license. Social security number is your trading with the enemy license.
Wow. Whoa, that's pretty heavy.
Very. You can Google it, you can find it yourself.
I believe you.
Now, the best part about it, once you do that, go, okay, what about the debts?
Where's your bag?
There. Okay, it's in the bag. So, how do you fix it up? Well, that's not too hard either. Once you copyright yourself, and then you trademark it, you put a $230 million value behind it. Now, all the money you have now is an IOU. It's a promise to pay. It's not worth nothing. It's a promise. So you go and buy your stuff with these promissory notes, and at the end of the financial year, you write in your tax how much profit you made. Guess what? You all lied. You never made no fucking profit. You can't make profit from a debt instrument. It creates debts. It's an IOU. You never made no profit. How do you fix that up? Easy. You write it off as a loss. You made $100,000, you put a $100,000 loss. Why? Because it creates debts. This is how all Australia gets its deficit, and its debt keeps going up. Because everyone keeps buying stuff with a promissory note, IOU. No one pays, because you just gave them a piece of paper, an IOU. And then all that money that was made by that year gets added to the debt. That's why Australia's debt keeps going up. How do you take the debt down? Every individual says, I made no profit. Privatise yourself, everything I just said. Now you become Christ-like. And then when it comes, how much did you make? No. Why is that? In the Bible, beware of false prophets. They're not talking about someone with a fucking rag on their head. They're talking about the profit you put in your fucking pocket. You never made none. You can't make profit from a debt instrument.
False prophets.
So false profit in your pocket.
Yeah.
Not the profit going, I'm the king. No. The profit in your pocket. Yeah? Now you write it off as a debt, and under the double tax agreement, you get both back. Why? But you get double. Called the double tax agreement. Google it. Run out of New Zealand. The world is controlled by New Zealand. New Zealand. Not by England, not by America, New Zealand. All the monarchies left there and did a deal in New Zealand 1835. Why? Because if you're going to control the world, you've got to control it from the first sunrise. It's called time jurisdiction. First light comes from New Zealand, then hits Mount Warning, Australia. So they annexed New Zealand, New South Wales together. Remember, New South Wales, New Wales in the south. That was Australia. And by annexing it, then they start trade when the sun hits New Zealand, and they don't stop trade until it goes down to Western Australia. There's 6 extra hours of trade in the southern hemisphere called the sunset clause, because you can only do trade when the sun's up. So now they make all that money on the southern side, and north side don't make that. Yeah? And once you do that, now how do you wind it up? It's called a wind up. Wind up, once you get your books in order, once you've done that, you said, okay, I know it made no profit, all loss. Now you've made all of that loss, you put it in, and the taxman will ring you back. Do you know what you've done? Yep. Can you identify yourself? Yep. Who are you? I'm the owner of the account. Why? Because you're winding it up. How do you wind it up? Well, the wind up is, after you do it a few times, you go, okay, what you had profit before, you thought was profit, was actually a loss. So now you put it as a loss in the tax department. Now you said $100,000, you're going to get $2,000 credit.
Oi!
You can only make credit by writing the loss off as a debt. Yeah, the debt becomes a loss because you never made nothing. And then it comes back through the taxation as credit. That's how you get credited. It's all about balancing the books. One side's debt, one's the credit. That's all it is. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Once you understand commerce, you understand you are just being traded, you're a commodity. You're not recognized as a human, you're a commodity.
Yeah.
Yeah? You step into private, you become human again and go, oh, you're trading my property. Oh, I better take hold of that. Why? Because you can't trade that. Now, what's the best part about this? Your birth certificate is called the infant of the state. The infant of the state. Child trafficking.
Yay.
Checkmate.
Checkmate.
That's death by firing squad, death by hanging.
We're on the stock market.
That's why you're trading off, that's why they're trading the child.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, death by hanging.
Yeah.
Now there's a thing called wind up.
Wow.
Once you wind up, you actually shut down the trust. And the international, when you shut the trust down, the property must go back to the owner. Yeah, it started with $230 million, and you shut that down. Guess what you get? $230 million comes back to you. Checkmate. That's how you beat 'em.
Nice.
Blessings.
Hey.
How far into it are we?
All right, now
Another week or- we got another week or what?
we've got a quarter left to go.
Yeah, that's not bad.
We're about that far now to go.
Yep.
Wow.
Now we're signing into and with New Zealand with the right people, so that we can remove them.
Yep.
Because they're a corporation. The only reason they're there is because of a lot of lies and bullshit. Now they can't create a treaty because it's a company. Companies can't create treaties. Only nations. Tribal nation. We are not Aboriginal. Ab means non. Abnormal. Not normal. Aboriginal. Not original. We're original.
Yeah.
Yep. We, the tribes, are coming together, and we're claiming each other, and we create a land flag. And once we create a land flag, we create land law. Welcome to the land, everyone.
Yeah.
And we create an agreement whereby a society goes under the bar society, creates its own rules. Oh, we can create our own society and our own rules. And we can ask them, are you part of our society? No. Can you please show a receipt of sale? No. Okay. A treaty? Oh, you can't have a treaty because you're a company. Piss off.
Get
International
fucked.
law.
Woohoo.
That's what's going on right now.
Yay.
Oh, I'm going to be talking there today,
Nice.
Wonderful.
but I'm talking about something else. I'm letting everyone know who you are.
Yay.
Yeah? 'Cause you should Google Eagle Condor Prophecy. Eagle Condor or Rainbow Prophecy. Yeah.
Thank you for all that knowledge. That's
You're
really,
welcome.
really.
You Google Eagle Condor Prophecy, you'll know who you are. It says back in the day, the Native Americans, they wrote a prophecy and they're saying, why we are here, we try and fight, we stand and we die. We will die with tears in our eyes, we will not live, we will not win this fight. But we will come, why? Because they don't listen to us. We have the wisdom, but they won't listen to us because our skin is black. But in the future, we will come back in light skin. And they will listen. Well, guess what? I know who you are. I know who you are. You're our ancestors came back in white skin. How do I know that? You're here. I know who you are. Your skin may be white, but your flesh inside, you're black.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Nice.
our country.
Hey. Thank you. Yes.
I hope that put goosebumps on you.
It did. I actually have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Eagle what's the
Eagle Condor.
condor?
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm a prophecy runner. My job makes sure there's words that came true. So our job is to make sure you know who you are. Yeah? You're wondering why your lives are so hard? Well, guess what? When you were black and you were tribal before, you had to go through initiation processes and you had to learn the ways of the warrior. And it hardened you up like hard iron. Now we're in a different world. So you never went through those initiations. So the creator inside you went, okay, I'm going to make it hard. So you're like that piece of iron. And they chucked you in the fire. put your hand back and bash the fuck out of you. And they put it in the coal and got out and put it back in the fire and put on them and bash the fuck. In China and Japan, they learned to fold the sword up to 500 times so it could cut another sword in half. Your tongue is your sword. Your life has been hard because you had to be hardened, so you're here, so you're ready to deal with me and my mobs. Now, unfortunately, those mob down there in the temp embassy, all sellouts. They call themselves, what do they call them? Ngunnawal. Ngunnawal is a corporate tribe created by these lion fellas. They sold us out like they sold you out. The only reason they're there because those dogs down there made an agreement with them. That's why they don't like you. Every time you go down there, they don't like you because they sold you and us out. They pretend they are from other places, all stolen generation, don't know where they come from. And they say no cultural significance, so these dogs can develop everything. They're our sellouts, they're your sellouts.
Yeah.
Yeah? Creation of the corporate tribe. Yeah? It's called land laundering and apartheid. Apartheid is when they bring another group in to take your shit. And it looks like it's no longer racist, black against white, it's black against black. No longer racist. That's apartheid.
Yeah.
That's our apartheid down there. There's a woman here, what's she call herself? Matilda House. She's not from here. She's not from here. She's the one doing the deals with them. You see, Pat Dawson, he does not represent us. We speak for ourselves. We don't need no fool with no initiation to talk to us. He doesn't wear a red band. He's got yellow, black, and red. That's not initiation. Red band is initiation. We never gave him the right. He's self-appointed speaker. Same as Matilda House. Self-appointed. They appointed themselves. We're saying, nah, no thanks. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. We could do better.
We can speak for ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't speak for you speak for yourselves, and
Yeah.
so do we.
Yep.
Yeah? Now aside all you rainbow warriors, check out Rainbow Prophecy, check out White Spirit's Boy Prophecy, check out Eagle Condor Prophecy, and you will know who you are.
Thank you.
Yeah? And then you got to sharpen it up. You're the iron, you're the ones come back in white skin so that they listen. Because we still black and they still won't listen to us. It's up to you guys. We tell you what to say, you talk. Yeah, because they'll listen to you because you got the skin of the white. You're us in white skin. Yeah, that's who you are. Memorize that prophecy. Once you do that, your tongue is sharp. Your sword is sharp. Yeah, watch what they do, listen to what they say, or you can't hold them accountable. People say things and their actions, if they don't match, it's a lie. That's what we welcome here. Yeah, the lie. Have a look behind you. It's a syringe.
Yeah.
It's a syringe. Yeah.
Fuck.
Now, everyone creates these things. We created totem poles. What's a totem pole? For the totem, what's a totem? Well, that comes from clever water. What's clever water? Well, water is the binary essence of everything on this planet that lives and dies. If it's got spirit, it's got water in it. Water travels through every single thing on the tree of life equally. Now, inside that water is fire, sacred masculine, sun, fire. So the water is the sacred feminine in your body, and the fire is sacred masculine in the water, man in the woman. And inside, once you join those things, life is created. First, they said, first there was the thought, consciousness, create them. And then he went, I'm lonely, because no one to talk to, and created everything. So it's something to look, something to talk to. And then created us in his image. Why? We're the only ones who can sit back and go, wow, look at this beauty of me inside there, me in there, me in there, me in there. We're the only ones that go, we're the observer of ourselves inside all other things. The fire is the masculine and the woman inside the water. Without fire and water, two male and female come together, there is no life. No life.
That's
Now, if you know much about the dragonfly, we call it Narinya Narinya. That is the marriage. Now, if you look at their most eastern area, Mount Warning, Githable country, not Bunjalung, another fake tribe. Bunjalung was created by government. Apartheid. When you look at over there in the eastern seaboard, you see the sea, sacred feminine. Then early morning, you see the sun come up, the fire come out of the water. Again. And then as soon as it rises above the horizon line, the light goes like the wings of the dragonfly. And as she moves across the land, as soon as that light hits everything, everything in water reacts. And the dance of life happens again. Now, why is the fire and the water so important?
Life.
When you light that fire, the vessel is the spirit or the driver of the vessel, which is the body. You are not the body, you're the one inside. You are the consciousness, you're the angel inside. If the body is the temple to God, then your spirit is the king or queen inside the temple. That makes you the crown. There are 3 crowns, remember. Lord of the Rings? No, Lord of the Crowns. They say 3 rings, 1 controls them. No, Lord of the Crowns. 1 controls them all. You, the living, breathing soul, are the living crown, because the body is the temple to God, and you're the conscious, which is in the body, the temple. You are the crown, the living crown. Then they created a dead crown vessel, which is the Vatican created the dead crown, which is all capitals named, dead crown, and the Queen is the crown administrator. Her job is to administrate, to say, okay, who's in control? Okay, you still haven't worked out your shit? All right, I better just administer for the Vatican, because you ain't worked it out yet. As soon as you stand up, she goes, okay, piss off, these guys are in charge again. But only the living can control the dead. Let the dead deal with the dead, let the living deal with the living. All this corporation, you can't deal with them, human beings. You can walk up to a corpse, get up, it can't even bury itself. You're dealing with a corporation. Dead entity with a legal personality, it can't see you, it can't talk. Paper deals with them. Dead image, paper. Paper's dead. There's no spirit in a piece of paper, no spirit in a corporation, a corporation. So you let the will, your will and testament, last will, put that on the paper, send that to the dead corporation, and it can deal with that, because dead deal with the dead. They can't deal with us. How many times you walk and talk to a corpse and it does what you said? It doesn't happen. You're trying to talk to a corpse.
Thanks everyone for coming. This only was confirmed about an hour ago. Senator Malcolm Roberts is coming out to chat to Michael Flynn and about the will of the people. And the will of the people is we have no more mandates. That's the will of the people. So Senator Roberts is coming out to hear that. But because we only heard about it an hour ago and got this year organised with the police cooperation, thank you police, please jump on all your social media channels or your direct contacts and just tell people, come, come, come. I know they were all down at Government House, so please, if you can help by just getting people here, that would be amazing. He's scheduled to come out at 2 o'clock.